Hey friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I do all sorts of videos on my channel. Cooking videos, vlogs, hauls, Disney content, a little bit of everything. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, I hope that you will subscribe and join me on my YouTube adventure. Today's video is a collab hosted by Rob and Sumner. I'm going to have their channel linked down below. I'm also going to have a link to the playlist so that once you finish watching my video, you could see what all of my friends made for their collab. And the theme of this collab is what's for dinner. I decided that I wanted to make a recipe I've never made before, which is not uncommon on my channel. I'm on TikTok a lot. I should probably post on there more often, but I'm scrolling through TikTok a lot, and I've realized that in the last few weeks, maybe, perhaps even months, PASTINA has really had a moment. In case you've never heard of PASTINA, it's this very, very tiny pasta, usually in cutesy little shapes, and it's what they refer to as Italian penicillin. It's somewhere between a chicken soup and like a mac and cheese, but it's supposed to be delicious and it's supposed to be the thing when you're not feeling well. Now, I've never had PASTINA, and it's also probably not the first thing you think of when you think of gluten and dairy-free eats, because that's what I do on my channel. I exclusively eat gluten and dairy-free, and it's not the first thing that comes to mind when you think of this recipe, because it's literally pasta, butter, cheese, gluten and dairy. But as usual, I'm going to be adapting the recipe to make it safe for me to eat. Hopefully it's also tasty as well, and I'd like for you to come along on this adventure with me. So the first thing I want to do is show you the ingredients that I'm going to be using today to adapt the recipe and make it safe for me to eat. And then we're going to jump right into the method of cooking. It's supposed to be fairly simple and fairly quick. I'm a little bit concerned because at some point we have to whisk a beaten egg into the cooked pasta, and I wonder texturally how that all is going to work out, but that is kind of like a point in PASTINA. It's like you're supposed to do this regardless of what kind of ingredients you're using, so it should work, but we'll find out together. So without any further ado, let's get into our ingredients. So again, very simple stuff here. We're going to need 2 cups of vegetable broth or chicken broth. I'm planning to just use Better Than Bouillon. This one in particular is gluten-free. Always make sure to check your labels. And you don't have to use this. You can use something canned or boxed. You can make your own chicken broth or bone broth. Actually, I have a recipe for Instant Pot bone broth that's delicious and that I swear by. I make it all the time. So I'll have that recipe linked in the corner, and I'll also post it in the description box below in case you happen to have some on hand, you want to have some on hand and make your own. You can do that as well. We need a 1/2 cup of gluten-free PASTINA pasta. So I'm going to be using this one right here, Jovial brand. I found this, I believe, at Whole Foods, but I think they also sell it on Sprouts. If I can find it on Amazon, I'll link it below. And I want to show you guys, look how adorable these are. They're these itty bitty teeny tiny star shapes. Very, very cute. This is a great way to get kiddos to have some chicken soup because it's such a cute dish. Just the idea of eating itty bitty little stars like that, I'm sure will be exciting to kiddos. This is a rice-based pasta. If you can't find it, you could also try to use this orzo, which is chickpea-based. I really like chickpea-based pastas for the most part, but like I said, I've never made this particular recipe, so I'm not sure what would work out better. This is the type that was recommended in the recipe that I'm following, so this is what I'm going to be using today. So that was a 1/2 cup of the pasta, 1 egg beaten, so we're going to beat it before we even start because we don't want to have to mess with the yolk and the white while we're actually in the action. 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to be using the Miyoko's plant-based butter right here. 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, and the Follow Your Heart brand of Parmesan is my favorite. I always have this on hand, so this is what I'm going to be using for this today. We need some salt and fresh ground black pepper to taste, and the recipe doesn't call for it, but I'm probably going to add a little bit of thyme because I feel like what gives chicken soup and chicken soup type things that nice little gustito that everybody enjoys is thyme, so I feel like it's going to make sense in this. So I'm going to get a medium-ish sized pot. I'm going to make my broth with my Better Than Bouillon, and I'm going to set it to boil over high heat. Okay, we've achieved a boil with our broth. So now I'm going to add in my pasta, which I got measured out right here, my half cup of pasta. I'm going to pour it in, and then I'm going to reduce my heat to medium-high. Cook the pasta over a rolling boil until most of the broth is absorbed by the pastina and the pastina is soft. It says that if you need to add more broth to get the just right texture, you can do that. I don't know what the just right texture is. We're kind of doing this by feel. And also, it doesn't give us an actual time frame for how long we should cook our pasta. So that, as a first-time recipe follower, concerns me some, because I prefer to have an actual time frame that I should be looking for. These are very itty-bitty pasta, but we're looking for most of the liquid to be absorbed too, so it's not just a matter of the pasta cooking. So what I've gone and done is I've started a little stopwatch type situation. So I'm going to continue to watch this, continue to stir it intermittently so that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pan. But once it looks good to me, whatever that means, I'll let you guys know how long it took me. Your mileage may vary, everybody's stove is a little bit different, etc. Even if you're using a less wide pot, your liquid could evaporate faster, not as fast, what have you, but at least it'll give you some point of reference. I've just looked at the back of the box of pasta, and the box says to cook it in broth for 10 minutes. So at least now I have something to go on. I'm currently 2 minutes in, so I'll give you guys a little bit of a check-in when we get to 10 minutes, or perhaps before if it looks like the liquid's all evaporated before then. Alright friends, it's been just under 10 minutes. I'm going to stop that. And you could see that most of the liquid, if not all of it, has been absorbed. And we've got a nice little porridgey consistency going here. And that's exactly what I believe we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the cooking right then. So now that we've removed it from the heat, I'm going to add in my beaten egg. And I'm going to make sure to mix the entire time. And I'm only going to do it a little bit at a time, because I don't want the egg to scramble. And don't worry about the raw egg. The residual heat from the pasta is going to cook up the white, so it should be safe to eat. This is just going to add more richness and more of a creamy texture to our finished dish. And bonus, a little bit of extra protein as well. That looks perfect, actually. It already looks kind of cheesy without the cheese, but that's coming next. I'm going to add in my butter. So I've got 1.5 tablespoons here that I went ahead and measured out. Stir that in. And lastly, my 1/2 cup of cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and do, I don't know if I should do the whole container. The whole container is 4 ounces, which is technically 1/2 cup. But I just realized that was mostly off frame that whole time, so I'm sorry about that. The cooking took over the videotaping process here. But yeah, what I was saying, this is 4 ounces by weight, but if I were to do 1/2 cup, I dare say it would be a lot less than the whole container. So let me actually just get a measuring cup out. So there's about 1/2 cup by volume, whereas 1/2 cup or 4 ounces by weight would have been the whole container. I think it ended up being actually about half the container. So that's what I'm going to do. You could always add more. You could always just go nuts and do the whole container, whatever makes sense for you. But I think this is a good amount considering the amount of pasta we have here. And now once that's incorporated, it's going to start to melt. That looks so nice. And the last thing is I'm going to add my thyme, which is, again, is fully optional. You don't have to add any herbs. You could add whatever herbs you like. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. I didn't so much as salt the water when I was making the pasta, so it's important to salt at the end here. And then obviously you taste it and decide whether you're going to add more or less to suit your tastes. But that's it, guys. Look how simple that was. And that looks really delicious. It looks like it's going to be super tasty and satisfying. I'm going to take a little taste straight from the pot. That looks so nice. That is delicious. That's really, really good. Exactly what you'd expect. Cheesy, creamy, It's got the chicken soup flavor going on. Very, very good. I could see how any kiddo would love this, but you can just be young at heart and like it as well. It's really, really good. And as you saw, it was really easy and really fast. So if you are feeling under the weather, this is a great dish to have on hand to make sure that you're eating something nourishing without having to go wild in the kitchen. Alright friends, that's going to do it for me with my super easy what's for dinner recipe. If you've had pastina before, let me know how you like it. If you tried this particular adaptation that's gluten and dairy free, come on back and let me know how you like it too. I think it's delicious. Obviously I can't compare it to the real thing, but just on its own as a dish, 10 out of 10. I want to thank you all so much for being here and watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!